Hello there. If you are using Entity Framework Core in your application and you are dealing with the bulk operations, then this video is for you. So far, there was not a very good way to deal with the bulk operations in Entity Framework Core because the way it used to create the queries from your LINQ queue was not very much efficient. But now there are two new methods that has been added in Entity Framework Core 8. Although these methods were there in Entity Framework Core 7 as well, but the way they used to work is totally different in Entity Framework Core 8. These two methods are ExecuteUpdateAsync and ExecuteDeleteAsync. And these two methods will totally change the way you used to work with the bulk operations in your Entity Framework Core. In this entire video, I'm going to talk about all the possible scenarios that we have in the bulk operations and that we can handle by using these two operations. My name is Nitish Kumar and I'm a Microsoft MEP in Developer Technologies. And in this video, I'm going to explain these methods very deep. To understand the concept better of bulk operations in Entity Framework Core, I have created an application. This is an ASP.NET Core Web API application, and in this application I have already set up the Entity Framework Core. Let's understand how that thing has been done. So first of all, I will just open the CS pros file of this project, and to open the CS pros file I can just double click on the name of this project like this, and here you will see that this is a .NET 8 application. The label is enable and all other things are there, and these are the packages that I have installed in this application. So here I have installed this Entity Framework Core, Design, this SQL Server and this Tools. These are 4 packages that I have installed in this application. Let's quickly have a look on our DB set classes. So here I have created only one single model, which is employee model, and in this employee model I have these very basic properties. This is ID, name, email, salary and the is active. Okay. Now let's have a look what we have in the DB context class. So this is my DB context class, and here I'm using the primary constructor concept of .NET 8, and by using that concept here I'm just passing the options, and these options I'm passing in the parent class, which is DB context. This primary constructor is a new feature that has been added in C# 12, which is in .NET 8. If you want to learn more about that, then I have already created one video on my channel. So you can find this video, primary constructor, on the same channel, and you can learn everything about the primary constructor. But if you are interested in learning all the features of C# 12, then you can visit my another channel, which is this WebGentle, and over here you can search for this video, every single feature of C# 12, and here you can learn all the new features of C# 12. You will find the link of both these videos in the description box below. Now let's quickly have a look on our program.cs class. So in the program.cs class I have added this line over here just to add that DB context. So what I'm doing, I'm using this add DB context, and this is the name of my class, and by using this option I'm adding this SQL server, and I'm getting the connection string of my database from the app settings, and the name of the key is this app db. And if you will notice, I have added this log2 as well over here. So basically I want to log all the commands on my console window. Now let's see what we have in our app settings. So this is the app setting file, and here you will notice that I have added this connection string, and this is the name of my connection string, which is the key, and this is the server. So I'm using this dot, it means I'm using the local server. I have already installed SQL server on my system and I will be using that. Okay, the name of the database is this EF Core test DB, and I'm using the Windows authentication. Now let's open the SQL Server Management Studio, and here you will notice that I do not have a database with that name. If I will refresh the changes, here you will see I do not have any database with this name. Now let's quickly create a database in our SQL server, and for that I will have to use some migrations. So I can click on this tools, NuGet Package Manager, NuGet Package Manager console, and here I will have to write some commands. So here I'm writing this add migration, and let's give it a name init. Hit the enter button. The migrations are completed, and here you will notice we are having a folder with the migrations, and we have the migration over here. And to create and update the database, I will have to run another command, which is update database. Let's hit the enter button. And if you are thinking that why do I have so many things on my console window, this is because I have added that log2 method by using this console.writeLine. This is coming because of this line. Alright, now we must have a database in our SQL server. Let's open this SSMS and refresh it again. So here you will notice that I have a new database, which is EF Core test DB, and in this database I have only one single table, which is employees, and this is for the migrations. In this one I have all the columns that I have created in my class. So this is ID, name, email, salary, and is active. Now to work on the data, I have already created one script, and here it is, employee script. Let's just copy all of them and paste it here. And just to maintain the same IDs, let's just disable the identity of this particular table, although it is not required in your actual application, but here, because I will run this script here multiple times, so that is why I'm just disabling the identity. And for that, let's just right click on the design, and what do we have here? This is the identity, and let's just make it no, save it, and that's it. Perfect. Let's see what we have in our table. So as of now it is empty, there is nothing. Now let's just insert some data over here, execute, try to fetch all the records again, and here you will notice that I have all 5 records. Now let's go back to our application. In this application I have created one controller with name employees. Let's close all these tabs like this and just focus on our controller. So this is my controller, this is employees controller, and in this employees controller I have created 3 methods. This one is to get all the records, this one to update the records in bulk, and this one to delete the records in bulk. The verb is get, put, and delete. Now let's see what we have in this get all method. So here you will notice this is extremely simple. I'm using this DB context over here, then the employees, that's the table I have, and I am basically getting all the records. Now let's just run this application by clicking either this one or this button. Let's run it in the debug mode. And here you will notice that the application is running on this particular port, and to get all the records, either I can click on this particular API, or there is one more new feature that has been added in Visual Studio, which is this HTTP file. Here also I have added all these 3 endpoints, and if I will click on this send request, then basically I will get that same record. So let's click on this send request here, and you will see I am having all 5 records over here. Perfect. Let's just do the same thing over here as well. Try it out, execute. We are having all 5 records. It means to hit your API, you can use either this Swagger, or you can also use that built-in HTTP concept. Now let's talk about bulk update operation. So let's assume that I have a requirement that in this table I need to update all these names with some different value. And for that I have created one endpoint over here. So as per the current approach, what we generally do, first we fetch all the target records from the table. So for example, in this case I want to update all the records, so I'm fetching all of them, and then by using this for each loop, here I'm using this record.name plus equal to, it means I am appending this value in the name of this particular table. You can also update all other columns over here by using the same approach, and then at the end I'm using this db context dot save changes async method. Why we are running this save changes method over here? We are doing it because we are fetching all the records over here, and then EF core will track all the changes that you will make in this particular object. And if you will call that save changes method, then basically all those changes will be updated in the database. So this is the old approach. Now let's see what is the drawback over here. So for that, either we can have a look on the query over here, or we can also open the profiler. You can use any one of the approach. So here I'm using these tools. This is the profiler. Let's open it. So my SQL server is dot, which is local. Click on this connect button and let's run it. Okay, so first of all, let's get all the records just to make sure that it is working fine or not. And here you will notice that I'm getting this request, select all the records from this table. It means this profiler is working fine. Now let's click on this send request, which is for the update. So basically I can put a breakpoint also over here, and let's just click on this send request. We are hitting this debugger over here. Let's click on this continue button, and here you can see that I'm getting all 5 records with the updated values. So this is the old way, this is the old way, right? All the names have been updated with one extra text. Now let's see what is the impact on our database. In this case, you will notice that this is the query that we are running on our database. What we are doing, we are basically running 5 queries over here. This is the 1, 2, 3, 4 and the 5. It means by using this approach, EF core is generating one single query for each operation. And just assume that if you are having 100 or thousands record in your database and you are doing that bulk operation, then this will cost a lot to your SQL Server performance. Now let's see what is the new approach. So I'm just going to remove it. Although there is no change in the functionality, everything is working fine, but this is all about the performance. So here let's just stop it, and now we will make some changes in this method. So I can basically just comment all of them. Before learning more about this bulk operation, there is one very important thing, and that important thing is that this concept is applicable only for one single table. So here I'm using that DB context and use the employees. It means I want to perform the operation on this employees table. Then use this dot, and there is a new method which is called as ExecuteUpdateAsync, this one. And in this one I have to write my lambda. So this is x lambda expression, and then x dot set property. So I need to define a property, which property I want to update. So basically let's say it is p, another lambda expression, and I want to work on the name. Perfect. What change I want to make in this name property, that you have to define by putting a comma. Now let's say here I want to update all the names to a specific hard-coded value, so I can do that easily. Let's say I'm writing Nitish over here. So this is going to be an async method, so we have to use the await, and this will return an integer value. So let's put them in our result like this, and here let's just use this OK method, and this time let's return it result over here. Perfect. So what do we have in our table? We are having all these names. Now let's see what will happen if I will execute this particular query. The application is running. Open the profiler, let's clean it and go back to this application, go back to this HTTP, click on this send request. We are here, click on the continue button, and you can notice we are having 5 output over here. It means 5 records have been updated. Let's go back to our profiler, and over here you will notice that we are having this particular query, which is update e set e.name is equals to this from employee as e. And this is a major change over here. Here we are having only one single query. It means for all your records, even they are hundreds or thousands or millions, you will get only one single query, and this will perform much better as compared to those n number of queries. And if I will just get all the records like this, then you will notice that I have the updated value in this name column. Okay, so this was all about one single column. What if I want to update multiple columns over here? So in that case, you can use one more set property method. So let's say I'm using this dot set property, and you can define your next property. How? So let's say again I'm doing this. So this time I want to work with which property? We have 4 properties. This is name, email, salary, and is active. Let's say I want to work with the salary, and let's say I want to add 100 in the salary of all the employees. In this situation, if I need to add 100 to all these values, then first I need this particular value, and then I will have to add that 100. How can I do that? Over here we were just putting the hard-coded value, but over here we have to make the value in the existing property. How can I do that? Again, over here I can write one more lambda expression. How? Like this. So p dot salary, and let's say I'm doing it plus 100 like this, and let's say I'm using this Nitish full name over here. Okay, this time I want to update this name with this particular value, or the better is that I can use this p dot name also over here like this concept, and I can only append this Kosik over here. But this is the query. Let's assume that this is a kind of replacement and this is a kind of update. Now if I will run this query, then you will notice that it will update all the records. But what if I want to update only few records, the selected one? So for example, I want to update only the active records. So how can I do that? Over here I can put my where condition like I was using earlier. So this is the where condition, and here I can write is active. That's it. So basically I'm updating all the active records, and I'm just replacing their name with this value, and I am adding 100 to their salary. That's it. If you will notice one thing very carefully over here, we are not using that save changes over here. Why we are not using that? That save changes method is used only to save all the changes that you are making in the entities. But here we are not fetching the records and then updating them. We are simply writing a query, and this query will run on the database itself. So there is no need of using that save changes method over here. Okay, let's just run this application. The application is working fine. Go back to this HTTP, and this time let's just clear this profiler. Here we are. Click on this send button again. Continue. The output is 3. This time we are only updating 3 records. Go back to this profiler. Let's see what is the command. And here you can notice that this is the command this time that we are having. We are having this update e set e.salary is equals to the current value plus 100, and then the name to this particular new value from employees, where e.isActive is equals to this thing, right? So this is the very simple command that we always use in our SQL server. And now by using the entity framework core, you can get the similar queries. So this will improve the performance a lot. And over here, by using the same concept, you can use n number of set property over here like this. Now let's talk about our bulk delete operation. So here I'm just going to remove this breakpoint and just collapse it and focus on the delete. So what is the current approach to delete all the records or few records? Basically delete the records in bulk. So let's say I want to remove all the records from this table, then how can I do that? So again, for that I have to first fetch all the records and then use this remove range method, and after this remove range we have to call this method save changes to sync all the changes in the database. So first we are making a query over here to get all the records, and then once you will just run this line or execute this line, then you will see how many queries we are running. Okay, so let's go back to our HTTP, and this time let's click on this send request. Here you can notice the output is 5. It means 5 records has been updated, and let's see what we have in our query. Here you can notice that we are having one query for each record. Delete from employee output 1, where id is equals to p0, and the value of p0 is over here, right? So we are having a different query for each records. And again, just assume that if you are having multiple records, then what will happen to your SQL server database performance? Now let's see how can we improve the performance of the bulk delete. And over here, first let's insert all the records. So basically, as of now we do not have any record over here, so I can simply run it like this. And if I will just run this query, you will see I'm having all 5 records. Okay, now let's see how can we handle this bulk delete. So for that, let's just comment this entire code, and over here again I have to use that db context dot employees dot execute delete async. See, we are having both the versions. We are having this async version and the sync version. You can use any one of them based on your need. This time I have to use this execute delete async, and that's it. This is an async version, so I have to use the await keyword like this, and let's store the output of this particular query in a variable which is result like this, and use the return. Okay, this one, perfect. Let's just run this application, and this time let's see what will be the output. Okay, let's click on this send request button. We are having 5 records. Do we have any record in the database? But before that, let's see what we have in the query. And over here you can see that this is the query that we are having. We are having delete from E from employees. That's it. This is the command that we always use to delete all the records from the table. Earlier we were having a separate query for each row, but this time you can delete all the records only by using this one single query. So definitely this will improve the performance. Now let's say if I want to delete only some specific records, so let's insert the records again. Here we are. Okay, so this time let's say I want to delete only the active records or the inactive records. So how can I do that? As of now, you will see that we are having only 2 records which are inactive based on this flag, and I want to delete only these 2 values. So how can I do that? By using this ExecuteDeleteAsync method. And again, the concept is extremely simple. Here you can use your query, the where one like this, and here you can write your logic. So let's say it is x.isActive, and over here we have to use it like this because I want to delete all the inactive records. Okay, let's just run it. The application is running. Go back over here and see what we have in the profiler. Let's just clean it and click on this send request. This time you will notice we are having 2, it means 2 records have been updated in the table. And let's see what is the query. See, this is very simple query. So this is extremely simple, and this is something we always use in our SQL server. And if I will fetch all the records over here, then you will see we have deleted all the inactive records. This is how you can perform the bulk operations in your database by using the Entity Framework Core 8. And that is all about these 2 methods in the Entity Framework Core 8. I really think that these methods are super helpful and you will definitely use them in your applications. If you have any questions or doubt about all these things, then feel free to ask everything in the comment section below. And if you think this was helpful, please subscribe to the channel and share the video. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.